Hey, welcome back, boys and girls. We're once again at the Shadow Gallery, and it's, new comics, bitches! So, moving along, again, another book that I don't have with me. I have a friend of mine that we trade off a lot, as far as books are concerned. He'll buy some, I'll buy some, and what you generally see is stuff that that he's either lent me or that I've lent him. But like I said, I take notes. They're right here. You can't see them because I can't move this, but I can move the notes. They're right here. Anyway, Amazing Spider-Man 661. Trading up. Not trading up, but just trading writers for a little while. I don't know how long. Christos Gage, who is a writer that I really, really like, who's done a lot of awesome stuff over the last couple of years. The whole Avengers Invaders thing. I'm sorry, not Avengers Invaders, but Invaders Now. He was so good at doing that. He did the Union Jack miniseries, the London Falling miniseries, which was, again, awesome. Union Jack equals awesome. So he's stepping in for Dan Slott for a little while, I guess, while he's plotting Spider Island. Here, basically, Spidey is stepping in to teach a little bit to the Avengers Academy. Because, for a while, Spidey was a teacher. He was a science teacher. And he really loved doing that. And he really misses doing that, apparently, because that's all he seems to talk about for the first several pages of the book. And there's some funny stuff going on because Giant Man helps them bring down this big gorilla. This like beyond like King Kong sized gorilla, I guess. And there's just, and he's looking for a guest instructor, somebody who is also an Avenger. And so, Spidey, he offers his, a little bit too soon, maybe, offers his assistance, to step in and be an instructor for the Avengers Academy. And a little twist, Giant Man first asks Thing, because he's an Avenger. At this point, Spidey's like, hey, hold the phone here. He's on both the Avengers and the New Avengers, and now he's on the FF. Why not let him teach? So they invite him in, and of course he's so uncomfortable within just the first few questions, because they have to do with his career and not actually him teaching things. And so they just go patrolling. And they're patrolling, and they run across a random bad guy or two, some muggers. But then all of a sudden, the character Psycho Man comes in, and he has the ability to manipulate emotions in other people. And of course, in keeping with the Marvel, their company idea right now, he goes with fear. He's making them so afraid of what, just digging into their own personal fears. And of course, since they're kids, they can't handle it as well, but, Spidey can fight his way out of it because, the biggest fear that he has is letting Uncle Ben down. And he vowed that he would never do that. So he doesn't defeat Psycho Man. He thinks he does, but he doesn't. That, of course, leads us to the cliffhanger. The lead into the next... It's not really a cliffhanger, but just a lead into the next issue. I gotta tell you, one thing I'm getting really, really tired of in Amazing Spider-Man, and this is not just this issue, but for the past several issues is how much Spider-Man misses his spider sense, or how hard it is for him to function without a spider sense. Okay, I get it. You're the big title at, one of the big titles at, in the Marvel universe. Apparently everybody is expecting, the publishers at Marvel are expecting that everybody, potentially who goes into a comic store and picks up an issue of Amazing Spider-Man will have no idea that this is something that's happened. So it's talked about in every issue. So it's like, come on, give it a fucking rest, guys. Okay, we know, and we can't just always, we can't just always expect, okay, well, somebody just can walk in off the street and just grab an issue of Amazing Spider-Man. It's like, oh, he doesn't have a spider sense anymore. It's like, come on. It's getting tired. It's getting old. Really, really, really old. But beyond that, that's really my only kind of gripe with the issue. It's good, Christos Gage, he does, he like I said, he does great work. It's just, I'm not sure he's quite the right voice for this. He just seems to do better with more of a team-based, or honestly, more of a team-based idea. So I think that's where he does better. But again, if this was Dan Slott, I think this would probably have been stronger. So that's, I think it's good, but it's not really fitting up to the the groundwork that's been set by Dan Slott over this last however many issues. So, but everybody needs to take a break sometime. So, okay, so moving on. To the actual issues that I have in my possession, we've got Batman 710, Two-Face returns. This was a really interesting issue because you've got Two-Face basically torturing and killing any number of people to try and get his coin back because his coin is missing. You've got Mario. You've got Mario Falcone, who is who's trying really hard to get his grasp on the Gotham underworld back. This is more of what I was talking about when I was saying, okay, well, Batman needs to return to, at least the Batman in Gotham City needs to return to more of a kind of conventional, superhero, not superhero, but more of a conventional, more down-to-earth type of villainy, as opposed to these, kind of supernatural shit that I keep seeing. So, this is good. This is, I like that. I like that he's dealing with this. And, so Two-Face finally gets his coin back, but not in the way he would have hoped. And it's a lot of, Batman trying to, track down Two-Face. And we've got, we've got a pretty big surprise at the end of a pretty big cliffhanger here. I doubt that what we see happen has actually happened. But it's still, it's a good comic, I mean, for, at least, again, this is one of those titles that I've been really wrestling with. Okay, do I keep it or do I pull it? Because, it keeps changing creators, keeps changing writers, it seems like. But whatever, it's, Tony Daniel, who is, he's really, he's actually a much more talented writer than I would have ever thought. But he's actually not doing the art, which I thought was really surprising. Because Tony Daniel, the thing that he's kind of brought to the table is that he's a writer, he's the one to punch, he's a writer and an artist. But they brought in a new penciler, Steve Scott, who I've never heard of. But he does some really nice work in this issue. And so, but it's it's a short comic. It's short and sweet, which is nice. And all in all, it's good work. So I was pleasantly surprised that it's returned to more, that a Batman title is, other than detective, is kind of, going back to street level, as it were. So that's nice. And now here we are, Hawkeye Blind Spot 4 of 4. So the big finale in which it's brother against brother, and it's but in this issue, essentially during this fight between Clint and his brother Barney, he is entirely blind. He doesn't even have the For those of you who actually have read this series, because I'm sure this hasn't done nearly as well as they would have hoped, because I haven't seen much about it, other than the fact that, I get it. I think I'm one of the few people that actually does buy this. And if anybody else out there does actually get this, be nice to let me know. Or maybe I'm just too hip for the rest of you, I liked this before it was cool. Anyway, it's good stuff. It's really good storytelling. And of course there's the somewhat happy ending of, okay, well, he does get his sight back with some unexpected help. But it's really cool the way that that Hawkeye fights during this issue, and he's using basically memory, kind of memory placement. And at one point, he actually, it kind of works almost as a radar sense. And he does ask, is this how Daredevil sees things all the time, or thinks that he sees things? He's working, just working off of sound and memory, and that's how he fights, and that's eventually how he wins. But still, I really enjoy the character of Hawkeye when he isn't being made out to, as I referenced in the earlier video, a total fucking, himbo. This doesn't really have a lot to do with that. I really liked Widowmaker, and I really enjoyed Blind Spot because it deals with Hawkeye, the hero, and the Hawkeye the man, and not just Hawkeye, the kind of caricature that he seems to become every once in a while, which is, he's the big ladies man, and he'll nail anything with a heartbeat. So that to me is always a little depressing. So, but I'm glad that this ended up the way that it did. I'm hoping that there will be more solo Hawkeye stories in the future. I know that from sales this will probably not be that Hawkeye will probably never have his own ongoing series. Again, a shame. But, if we keep getting minis like this, then, at least we have that to look forward to. So, okay, so we're going to wrap up now, and we're going to come back in just a few minutes with some more. So stay tuned. I'm watching you. Got my eye on you.